Mic on.
I am. I need to stop this music quickly. I think it's done. It's done. Good morning, guys. Sorry, I took a moment to make coffee and then I had to quickly help my son with something. So here we are. Here we are. Fossilinski. I'm going to publish the flight plan just now. Let's quickly take care of the formalities. Let me drop this into the description below the video. And I'll also put it into the comments so that you guys can actually see. Alright, so that's the flight plan. It should save it for us. And let's put that into the chat as well. There you go. So I'll give you the routing as well, that you've got the idea of what the actual routing is. There you go. That's the routing. So you've got flight level, the knots, the whole actual ATC flight plan, then you've got the routing. Right, so we've got Paul and we've got John on Discord with us. If anybody else wants to join us, you're welcome. Morning Phil, morning Liam. It's a bit of a rush to get going. I started the stream earlier without setting up the correct names and stuff. So anyway, got that fixed. Let's fix up all the other nice to haves. Let's see.
Nico,
Yes.
are we not going to give the carrot out this morning or not?
No, not at all. Not at all. I spoke to Slavbass until about 1 a.m. this morning, and we had a nice big talk about it. And the fact of the matter is, version 2 of his software is going to be released probably over the weekend. Okay, he said he's not 100% sure if it will be this weekend, but otherwise early next week. So there's no point in showing the guys the software until it is ready. Okay, because if we show them something now, they're all going to go download it, run it, get into problems, and then Monday, Tuesday, or whenever, maybe even Sunday, it all changes again, and then we have to do a new video anyway. You understand? So for sanity's sake, we agreed together we're not going to show you guys what we're talking about.
Agreed.
Yeah. So yeah.
Paul, I do apologise for that. You're going to have to wait another couple of days. Just so you're up to date, all I said was that there was going to be something revealed this morning.
Yeah.
And now I take that back.
Yeah. No, me and the developer had a long chat. He's also joined us now in our Facebook group, and we were talking about, the publication of it and the marketing of it and everything that goes around that product. I'm going to tell you what it is, guys, so that you don't stay in the dark.
You bloody teasers, honestly.
Yeah. Basically, a couple of months ago, one of our members in one of our groups wrote a little program to do the installation of the Zibo. Now, some of you might know it, some of you might not know it. But this thing has gone through various phases of evolution. And basically what it does, it's a little app that you use to install the Zibo. You can do a full, complete new install with it by just clicking two buttons, and it's literally two buttons, or you can do an update. So again, it's two buttons, and it takes away the guesswork greatly. All right. And I mean, one of the biggest problems we have with the Zibo is the installation. Guys, for some reason, and I'm not being malicious when I say this, but it's like their minds leave them when they have to install the Zibo. It's like, wow, I can't understand how it can be so difficult, but I continuously on a daily basis have to help 10, 20 guys install the Zibo because they are completely incapable of following the instructions. So, to make a long
I was I used a little bit of knowledge and buggered it up when I saw one of the updates just being a plugins update,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
dropped that in, and I don't know, doubled up the folder structure or some
Yeah.
nonsense like that.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
I'd have just done as I was told,
Mm.
it would have been okay. So
Well,
yeah, quite right.
that what you've just mentioned is probably the thing I've had the most fights about in the last 3 days. People overthink it. They overcomplicate it. Instead of using the normal common sense and the actual instruction that says put the base first, then add the latest fix, they go and do the strangest things. Me and John were talking about it. The actual Zibo official installation instruction is like 3 or 4 lines, short lines. Do this, then that. My manual is now already at 20 pages because every single day somebody surprises me with a new interpretation that needs to be counted again and fixed. Don't do that. Just follow the rules. So from 4 lines, it's grown to 20 pages. And anyway, to make a long story short, so what this app is about is it's supposed to take away the guesswork. It's obviously something for the new generation. I mean, all the kids want apps, right? So it's a little app, you're going to run it, it's going to just do the installation for you. But now the trick that we found yesterday was you now need to learn how to install this app. And if you don't install it correctly, it actually physically deletes the information. All right. And if you put it in the wrong folder, it's going to actually delete your explain. That's the danger of it. So now what's the lesser evil? Teaching people to properly install the Zibo or to properly install the app that's supposed to install the Zibo. And this is where we said, you know what? We reviewed the video, the stream that we did. The developer said he's picked up a few things. He too, he's totally stumped to. It's not supposed to be that difficult. But even I overthought the process. And because I'm in IT and I've been there all my life, I have a certain expectation. And here he comes with his program, and he completely floored me. I lost my 700, I lost my 900, and I lost my installation of the 800 plus all my backups. It just wiped it because I put it in the wrong folder. And this is when we said, you know what, let's fix it up, make it easier. We'll release the new version and then we start again. So guys, that's the long and the short of it.
Still got work on your hands then. Either way, people are going to
Yes.
be coming to you for assistance.
Well, I suppose. Phil, yes, as we have discussed, the numbering system didn't help. So yesterday morning early, I sent a quick message to Zibo and I asked him to get rid of the file called 35fix. Because for some reason, this is exactly now people overthinking it. I've had at least 3 guys in the last 2 days tell me, oh, I installed the full base pack, then I installed 10 or 11, whatever the latest was, and then I load the 35 fix and then it doesn't work. And I go, obviously it won't, because the 35 fix was the very first one. That's the base for 35. If you had followed the principle and installed it correctly, and if you had just read my guide, which the guys are lazy to do, you would have known that you have to put it in date order, you have to put it in the number order, right, and all these other things. But people don't read, people don't get to read, and it's always someone else's problem. All right. So I said to Zibo, please just remove that file. And I sent him a message later on just to thank him because he did. So if you look at the actual Google Drive today, you're going to see the full 34 and you're going to see all the 35.1 up to .11. So there shouldn't be any more confusion. And thank goodness Zibo helped me out with that one. So yeah, that helps.
And the important thing is the date order. Providing you
Yes.
follow the date order, you can't have a problem anyway.
Well, thanks, Fossil. Thank you for following me and my tutorials. And Liam, it does sound good, guys. Yeah, John, you just said it. If you just follow the rules, you shouldn't get it wrong. But enough of that. The whole reveal was supposed to show you this little magical tool that actually does the installation. The beta that I've got works brilliantly, John. Now that I've actually gotten my mind around it, installed it in the right place, and read from the right place. I mean, it's magic. It's like fairy dust now. You press a button and it's done. And I mean, it just takes away all the guesswork. But there's no point in revealing it this morning, as I said, because it's going to change. The whole look and feel and extra features and everything that's coming in the next couple of days makes it, yeah, there's no point in showing it because we're just going to confuse someone else again.
Can I
Well,
interrupt?
thank you
Yes,
for
please.
at least letting people know what the carrot was.
Yeah.
We're not leaving them in guessing game.
Yeah, sure. Go for it, Paul.
Does it automatically save the preference files and all the good
Yes.
stuff like that? Liveries, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, you've got little sliders in the current model. I'm not sure what the new one looks like. I have not seen the new one yet, so I know what you know in terms of what it looks like. But in terms of functionality, it's got little sliders. So you decide you want to save your liveries, you want to save your preferences, you want to save the C list file. If you're using the X checklister, you've got a whole bunch of options: what to save, not, what to include. Last night while I was talking to the developer, I actually played around. It's got a restore point facility as well. So if you are scared you're going to mess something up, you click the restore point button. It actually makes a full restore point of your Zibo 800 at that point in time. All right. So then you can mess around with it. You can just restore the restore point if you have to fix something. So I think in terms of a if you that's a nice tool to use if you get a working Zibo at a certain level, let's say dot 11 that we're going to fly today. This is like the brilliant one. This is the one you love. I would suggest make a restore point of this one, and then you can obviously build on and bolt on and do the rest as you go on. But if any point in time you need to go back to the stable one that you knew were working, it's as easy as pressing a button, and it kills the one that you've got in your folder and puts the working one back for you. So the potential of this program is amazing, and the functionality, it's really easy once you understand it. But the trip yesterday was to get to understand it. Wow, that took me a couple of minutes.
Basically, it'll put Nico out of business.
Well, yes and no, because not everybody will use it, and not everybody wants to use it. I personally, are definitely going to have it on standby, but I might not use it necessarily every time when I back up. Remember, I share my Google Drive with Zibo, so the moment he drops the file, I get it. All right, as long as my PC is on, by the way. This is how Google works, right? So for me to open a zip file, drag and drop the update, it's second nature now. I don't mind doing that, but I can see the merit for a lot of guys who don't want to do that. And as we now know, let's say half of the population can't even do that simple two process task. So for those guys, we've got an answer coming soon.
What worries me more than anything is the fact that if they can't do a simple install, how the hell are they expected to fly the aircraft?
Well, I don't know. This is my question as well. How do you expect to fly a complex aircraft like this if you can't even install it? I mean, there's a serious break of understanding and knowledge that happens if you can't even install this properly. But it happens, John. We know it happens, and you know what? This is why I love the Zibo. It's there for everybody. Being free and being what it is. You saw the official X-Plane stats of how many guys use this thing compared to it. There's no other airplane in X-Plane that is used like this one. So you obviously get the guys who treat it as a game. You get the guys who just want to have fun. You get the guys who want to be silly sometimes. And then you get us guys who are really, trying to simulate the systems and the things properly. So I suppose we that's where mercy and grace comes into life. You've got to allow these other guys their existence as well. So I'm grateful that I have access to the developers and to this guy writing this program, and we can work together to solve the crunch for the guys who are obviously struggling. I know that's how I see it. Let's be thankful and grateful and love everybody and move on.
Excellent. Let's crack on.
All right. So, yeah, I still haven't heard anything about this very dark shadowing situation under these clouds. But as you can see, the clouds don't look bad. So today I'm at Porto, and we're gonna fly down to Seville, and I'm gonna have to get rid of one of these rotties that are sitting here on my lap, and then get cracking. As a matter of interest, I don't know if you guys have seen this livery. This is from Mike Trickett, I think was his surname. Absolutely love this Ryanair livery that he made. It's an awesome job. I'm going to fly this one for the VA a few times. We'll make this a VA flight as well and get some points. So, Senior Captain John Reynolds, I actually looked at your stats this morning. I see you've got way more hours than me. I've still got more points than you, but you've surpassed my hours by almost 100 already. Don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes, I was looking at those stats myself.
Yeah, no, you gunned it the last week. Guys, Uncle John, in the last 4 weeks, he actually now has become a senior captain at Virtual Ryanair. So congratulations with that.
Thank you kindly, sir.
Here, here.
Yeah. Right, so let's get rid of this little baby doggy. Well, Fossil, I'm just human. I think from the beginning, just to come back to your comment, I don't think this channel is about being a showman. This channel is about educating and being real more than anything else. I just want to be real. There are a lot of guys who don't or cannot associate with some of these showmen that we have, in the community. Some like them, some don't like them, some can't associate with them. For me, I just want to keep it real. I don't mind if I only have 10 guys in a Saturday morning watching the stream. If I look at the stats of how many times my videos get watched afterwards, it's staggering. You have no idea how many guys actually lurk in the background and come and find value here in the nice comments that I get. So, I mean, we're just trying to keep it real and help everybody where we can. Let's check these doors open. Good morning, Yoki. That's it. We all have different aims, and if we can help each other, why not? Payload, let's have a look, see. Oh, I don't know why this Ryanair is so heavy, but anyway, it's a hell of a heavy flight, this one. Can't say I've had this heavy weight in this aircraft in quite a while. I think that's about the push. Fuel, 6.7.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Tony, how are you?
Good. And you?
Also good, thank you. Well, Liam, now that you talk about the snacks and the carry on, I actually went while I was making coffee before starting the stream. I actually packed a lot of stuff here in my jacket as well. So I'll mute the mic later so I don't upset anybody, and then I'll have my snacks in the flight as well.
I hope that hasn't put us overweight.
Nah. Good one, Uncle John. It's clever. Right, so let's start our VA client. And then start our little timer. I'm not going to fly online on VATSIM. Guys, if you want to join us tonight, you're welcome. We're going to fly Austria, Innsbruck. I think that's in Austria. And then we're going to end up somewhere in Switzerland. And then we're actually going to ditch the Zibos and we're going to do a GA flight together in the mountains. So if you want a challenge, you're welcome to join us on VATSIM later.
I'll be there.
Yeah, cool. I saw you. You'll notice, Tony. The more the merrier.
Only from Switzerland, I go back to Amsterdam.
Sorry, I don't understand. Say again.
When we land in Switzerland, I go back to Amsterdam.
All right.
Of,
Okay. Yeah. Doing the GA.
Nico very kindly gave me a link to a vid that he thought I might enjoy. Believe it or not, I've watched half of it, and yes, I've actually downloaded it. So I'm going to put it in here for anybody else that might want to watch it. If they like pretty little girls flying really big aircraft, watch it.
Wait. I'll share it because otherwise I need to give you permissions to share it. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it last night before I went to bed while we were talking, me and Slav Baz, and it was running in the background. Yeah, I thought it was actually kind of very nice.
I'm loving it. I've actually downloaded it.
That's it. There's the link. Yeah, it's a whole flight with these two ladies flying for Lufthansa Cargo, the MD-11. From the beginning, arriving at the airport, going through the planning, going through the whole flight landing, getting off the aircraft the other side. It's a long video, but if you're really into it, I mean, you'll enjoy it.
Well, if you like skirt.
Yeah, for me, it's more about the flying experience. But I hear what you say. It's a twist. Listen, a couple of years ago, when I was still working for Mango Airlines, I actually met the two ladies who fly the cargo planes for South African Airways as well. I must say they're more good looking than these two, or they were at that point in time. And we had a ball flying the simulator together. It was awesome meeting the actual people, doing the job like that. And like I said, also two ladies.
Very competent ladies.
Oh yes. Tony,
Yeah.
the captain on that flight, actually, she spoke Dutch there. So she's more than likely a Dutch lady, just as a matter of interest. Right, that seems fine. We can drop out of there and just quickly continue. Guys, I'm taking it a bit slow because obviously I have to wait 20 minutes before we can push. Otherwise, it gives me less points on the VA. So, in case you were wondering, I'm not in any rush of any nature. If you want to ask questions in between, feel free to ask.
You have remembered to start Ryanair?
Yeah. I've come into the habit where I start the smart cars and then I come and start the ET timer. And then from there on, I can also watch my 20 minutes, just as a force of habit now.
Good practice.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go for it.
When you enter the reserves on the FMC there, my belief is that simply sets the amount of fuel left in the tank before the alarms go off that
Yes.
you've got low fuel.
Yes, that's what it does. That is why in the beginning I used a different value, but currently what I did was I went and I reinvented my whole PFPX thing. You'll see the OFP pop up in a second or two, right? So what I did was, come on, man. Okay, I incorporated this line now, and I actually gave more information than I previously had available on the OFP. And just by adding more information, I was able to understand it better and then work out a better reserve fuel. All right, so there are obviously laws that govern these things. All right, the ICAO rule says that you need to have enough reserves to fly at 1,500 feet AGL for 30 minutes above your alternate destination. That's the law. Okay, when you fly in Europe and South Africa, for instance. I'm not sure what the FAA ruling is because I just don't know. I didn't go and look. But that is the ICAO one. You can actually Google it. So if you take that into account, certain calculations needs to happen and certain things need to be put in place, to give you that. And so what happens is the 2.2 is basically now derived from your final reserve plus alternate. I'm trying to highlight it best I can, but it's not that easy. So that's the alternate and that is your hold. So those two together should give you roughly the 2.2. Alright, and that's why I put the 2.2 in for the reserves, because the moment it hits 2.2, your master caution is going to come on with fuel, exactly as it's stating there. And at that point in time, alarm bells should go off in your mind, telling you it's time to make a decision. it's time to get the move on to be able to comply legally. I hope that helps you.
Yes, it does.
Cool.
So in effect, it's a slider in your mind. You've still got the same amount of fuel on board, but
Yes.
you're basically setting when the bells go off.
Yeah, it's like your alarm clock in the morning. You've got the ability to snooze it if you want to, but it's better to just get up and get going, because there's a reason why you put it at that time. You know, it's just gonna give you that visual and audio cue. You know, it's now decision time. A couple of years ago, we flew down to Cape Town with Mango. We left Lanseria Airport, and the captain told us. Initially, we sat on the apron probably about half an hour, and he said the mist in Cape Town is so bad we can't fly. The ILS is not serviceable, so you know, it was broken. They need to fix it, and we have to do a visual landing. So we're waiting. So 30 minutes later, he says, okay, the weather is cleared up somewhat, but there's still a chance we might not be able to land. We're going to take a chance. So we took off. We got to Ardas. If you look at the flight plan, there's a waypoint called Ardas. And the guy comes on and he says, listen, we're going to have to hold here. Cape Town is closed. Langebaanweg as the one alternate, and George as the alternate are full already. The international flights took up Langebaanweg because the big birds need to land in the military base that's, you know, able to handle them. And the commercial guys went to George. And there are already guys holding at George. There's no room at George anymore. So we were holding at Ardas for 45 minutes. And then he comes up and he says, guys, if we don't bug out now and go and land in PE, we're going to fall out the sky because we won't have enough fuel. All right, so at that point in time, in my imagination, obviously, that's when that little yellow light went on, and it said to him, okay, last choice, you've got to make a choice now. You know, it's time to make the decision. And we backed out. We flew another hour and a bit to get to PE. We landed and we sat there for like 2 hours in the aircraft, sweating like pigs. You can't get out. It was hot. No aircon, nothing running there. You're just sitting and waiting. And eventually we flew back to Cape Town, which was another hour and a bit's flight then. You know, so for situations like that, you need some other cue. I obviously know that the guys are trained. They can work things out on paper, and they've got paper records, and they've got the FMC and all these things. But damn, it's a good idea to just have a little bell that goes off and a little visual cue, I think. You know, and that's where the 2.2 then comes in. Fossil it was an awesome flight. I enjoyed it very much. I saw parts of the country from the air that I've never seen in the air, even in all the time I flew. So it was nice. Yeah, let's continue. Let's see, 45. Yeah, that's a bit much. Even worse. Let's just keep it at that. Right, we can do a normal climb. We don't have to worry about that.
Climb, crossing, climb. Climb, crossing, climb. Fly. Fly. Clear of convoy. Descend. 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 Crossing. Descend. Descend. Crossing. Descend. Descend. Descend now. Descend. Descend now. Increase climb. Increase climb. Increase descent. Increase descent. Maintain vertical speed. Maintain. Maintain vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain. Monitor vertical speed. TCAS test. Pass.
Ugh, the weather in the Netherlands is a disaster now.
The weather.
Oh god, yes.
Oh, what's happening?
Raining, thunderstorm.
Ooh. Right, where are we? 15 minutes. Right, we've got 5 minutes more to wait. I don't know if you guys have seen this while we are waiting. Let's show you. I got hold of the latest beta of the AVI tablet plugin, and it's actually cool. It added one feature that you guys might like. Okay, so let's zoom in. There's a new little icon now, so we can actually switch to night view. How's that? Have you seen that, Tony?
Yeah, that's nice. Never seen that before.
Yeah, it's brand new. You need to get the latest beta version of the plugin, of the AVI plugin, and then just enable it.
Yeah, I need to update my Zibo as well, so
Yeah,
I can check it.
cool. E 8E. Sorry, wrong one. 8E. Aviation, the easy solution is uninstall it and then read the instructions and install it correctly, because you obviously installed it incorrectly. Only thing I can think of that happened there.
Before I took out my Navigraph subscription, I used, obviously, the chart section in ABETO to load up PDFs and whatnot so I could pull charts up. Do you use that feature anymore, or do you just pull everything from Navigraph?
I pull everything from Navigraph. The only time I use it, I'll actually show you. There is a time that I would use it, and that's when I fly VFR. Obviously not in the Zibo, but because the AviTab works in every aircraft, you know, from the drop-down menu when you go to plugins and you run AviTab from here. You know, I'll show you what it looks like here. Why is it not loading? LSY09. Come on. That's strange. Okay, maybe it's not available. So let's quickly go back and just close off here. If you go to, I need to get my bearings now. Charts. No. Yes. Yes. Is it? Close. Have a tab. And click once. But if we open it, yeah, sure. I did it once. I installed it. Let's have a look. See. Map. There we go. GeoTIFF. That's how it works. Okay, so let's just recap. So we go to maps. Then we go to the GeoTIFF. Now what happens is, let's just take for instance Juneau, where I actually fly for FS Economy. I got the GeoTIFFs from which website was it? I think it was the FAA actually. Alright, and as you can see, these are the actual VFR charts. Now what happens is, when you load a GeoTIFF into Navigraph like this, there's the airport. Yeah. You actually get your aircraft on it, and it actually becomes a moving map because it's a GeoTIFF. And the GeoTIFF comes, the geo means it's linked to the actual GPS coordinates. So it's capable of being a map, a moving map. So when I fly, for instance, for FS Economy in this area, it's nice to have this because all these little flags are your VFR reporting points, for instance, and it gives you the VFR details when you fly in the area. So this is the only other time that I would use the ABETO basically. Don't know if you guys have seen this.
Very useful to know that, thank you.
Yeah. I'm not sure where other sources would be. If you want GeoTIFFs for the UK or something like that, but I'm pretty sure there must be more sources. So you can obviously load those GeoTIFFs into the folder structure and then come and read it via your maps. But for the charts, okay, the only reason I would use these charts would be, there's my checklist and that's the actual OFP. So if I want to be fancy, depending on the stream, that's the actual OFP that I've got. And then obviously I've got my checklist. If I really want to do that, those are the only two things that I still keep in the Navigraph chart folder.
With a one-screen setup, I do put my flight plan in there. Yeah. So
you see, yeah, then it helps. Ryan, my friend, I don't know what to say to you. You're gonna have to troubleshoot it somehow, somewhere. I'm not sure. Obviously you messed up something, so you're gonna have to backtrack, retrace your steps, and try again. Right, we're at 22 minutes. We can actually get going then. Thanks for listening and asking. What is our QNH?
Ground to cockpit. Stow is driving up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That's a good one. What happened? Don't tell me Explain's gonna die now. Yeah, there's Explain dead. Okay, let's have a look, see what happened there. That's very interesting. Let's have a look, see. Log.
It wasn't me either, Fossil.
WebFMC. Failed, the download failed. Ooh. It was that one file that we wanted to get, it seems. That file failed to download, so it just killed everything. Round.
Well, fine morning to everyone.
Good morning, Jorge.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
How are you doing?
Mr. Paul B., how do you do? Captain John, good evening. Nice to hear your voice.
And you too, sir. Are you well?
Well, what we consider well these days, I suppose, is kind of a thrown around statement, but I am well of health. I am well of spirit.
Good.
Thanks to the good man upstairs. It could be a lot worse.
Excellent.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. Okay, I saw two problems. Number one, the AviTab is a beta, and I think that was what killed us. It also complained about WebFMC, and it complained about better pushback. So, I don't know. Any one of them could have made a mistake. So I'm just restarting quickly, guys. Hope you don't mind, but I'm still gonna fly.
Nico, I apologize for getting back to you late. I know you wrote me about Toncontin.
Yeah, no
I don't
worries.
know if you're still looking for whatever an answer.
Jorge, it's okay. I set up another flight, but you can still give me an answer, because then, at some stage we can do a stream, because that was the plan, to do the stream to Toncontin.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed Miami to Toncontin. It only is about an hour and a half.
Okay.
You could also try San Jose, Costa Rica to Toncontin. You could also try Havana, Cuba. La Habana, Cuba to Toncontin,
Okay.
which is a little bit closer, probably closer to an hour and 10-ish.
Okay. Havana, I've never flown in or out of. I've flown over it many times. So I think that's a good one. That's a good suggestion. Thank you so much.
There's actually a pretty good ortho. I think I used Bing. I did most of the island of Cuba with Bing. There's some spots with clouds, but for the most part, 80 to 90%, I'd say, is cloud free and good data if you want to build some ortho in that area.
Cool. Yeah. Now we'll look at that. I did some more southern Texas in the week. So I'm slowly filling up that area, and I think I've got all of the Caribbean, but maybe not Havana, Cuba. So we'll do that.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sorry about the fact that my X-plane crashed now, but I'm pretty sure it's more related to this beta of the AviTab than anything else. So I'm not going to go load all those charts again. I'm just going to set up the flight and go.
Where are you live on YouTube?
YouTube, yes, sir.
No, I apologize, John. This is that's news to me. I apologize, Senior Captain John. My apologies.
You worked hard for that.
I'm cracking up here. I'm cracking up.
Oh, and hello to the stream too. I haven't said hello to the stream. How rude of me. And now I'm tuned in, Mr. Fossil. Hello, and Aviation Ryan and Senior Captain John Reynolds. Good morning. I'm not sure.
Fossil, this is Jorge. He's one of the Zibo developers. He's also a very good friend of mine, and I love having him here. So that is who you are talking to. Of course, you are interacting with royalty.
Interacting with royalty.
Aviation, Ryan, I've got a good friend who makes all my liveries for me. Jacques Pinard. So all you need to do is find somebody who makes liveries, tell them what you want, and they make it for you. It depends on, Phil, it depends on what you consider the Zibo team. So that's, I think the fair answer would say that we're talking about 6 people, including Jorge. Jorge is not actively involved at this point in time, but that doesn't take away anything that he has done and delivered to us. You know, so I still count him as part of the team. So you're talking about 6 guys, hey, Jorge?
Let's see. Well, I mean, the Zibo is the Zibo project itself. I think the community has consolidated the ultimate with the Zibo, when in reality it's 2 separate projects. When we talk the Zibo team, it's really at the core 4 people, I'd say. Audio Bird, Zibo, obviously, Twixter, and I, and then we have a few real world guys who chime in, of course, and provide their valuable input. What I say at the core, the actual development, the creation of stuff boils down to 3, which is Zibo, Audiobird, and I, who actually have created objects and so on and so forth. But Twixter has done an incredible job and an incredible contribution with the flight model and tweaking, although it might not be 3D objects, he's done a lot of under the hood work and tweaking the flight profile of the model in the Zibo. So I'd say 4 people, 3 if you just want to boil it down to actual, visual development and actual creation, I suppose.
Thank you for that. I think a lot of people have wondered about that, eh? Oh, yes.
Round to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Hey, thanks, Capin. Capin or Capin? I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Captain. It's like Captain.
Captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Bullseye or Boydeye. Boydeye. But yeah, it's a really cool project. I think there's nothing like it in the world, and it's super exciting. I say there's nothing like it in the sense of free. In the free realm, it's something, as I've told Nico many times in the past. It's a project made out of love. It really does boil down to that. If you guys knew the amount of work that went into it, that especially Zibo has put into this project, I think most people's jaws would drop. It's not anything that could be done overnight, as you guys know. And I'll tell you firsthand that Zibo is an incredible programmer. I can only imagine if this were a payware project, what he'd pull off next, But yeah, we're all definitely blessed to be living in these times, I suppose, with, this project. It's good stuff. But it's a labor of love. That's what it boils down to.
For sure. Right, now I need to find my VA smart cards, start that up again. I think for the team, I'll take the hit now. I'm not going to wait the 20 minutes again. The intention was there to wait and to do it properly, but for time and entertainment purposes, we're just going to skip the formalities. So I'm going to start it up and just get going as soon as I possibly can. So
Nico, I don't know this side of the world, but I feel you're going to take me to Seville. Is it
Yes, Seville.
Seville?
Yeah, it's in Spain.
Yeah. Well, I've never been there. I'm excited.
Excellent. While we're waiting, let me quickly give you a little bit of a show. This is all freeware from the org. I haven't put the link in the description below the video yet, but I will. This is Porto, okay? So LPPR, it's in the northern part of Portugal. And we are going to take off from this runway 35 and then make a right-hand easterly turn out. All right. And this is, you know about this, but I'll just recap it. I fly between Porto and Lisbon when I do my normal Zibo tests, because either way you get either ILS or RNAV, and it's a short enough flight not to waste time, and you go through all the paces. So that's one of the reasons I like this area. So my Ryanair obviously is now stationed here. You were actually on stream with me the day I moved my hub here, and I actually flew from Stansted here. I don't know if you can remember that, many months ago. So that's where we are, and then we're gonna go to Seville. Where is my map thingy? Let me show you guys. Alright, it's gonna come up on screen just now. So we are here at the top, and we're gonna fly down to the bottom here. So Portugal on the left, Spain on the right. That's where we're gonna end up.
Outstanding. Okay, I see now. Portugal, we're going into Spain. Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing here, Jorge, is that they don't work east-west with a semicircular law. They work north-south. So we're going south. We have to fly on odds.
Oh, I see. So instead of east-west, they use north-south, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. Senior Captain John Reynolds, to answer your question, sir, regarding the update to the cockpit, that's a project that, as you saw firsthand, you saw me working on modeling a new cockpit for the Zibo, for the viewers listening. And I don't want to cut into Nico's time, so please, Nico,
go for it, please.
Tell me to shut up.
No. I'm going to program, so you've got the floor.
I've got, although I have a lot of passion for the Zibo project and what's been done, I've moved a little bit past that, and I'll be the first to admit that I'm back in P3D, and really one of the biggest reasons is I'm going back to flying in the real world, and I need to be able to go back to something that's perhaps a little more accurate system-wise and handling-wise, and I feel that PMDG brings me that, what I need. So, but what I want to do is, and I've already told Zibo this, I haven't shared this with you, Nico, but I was just recently talking to Zibo. I told him this, and I said, look, we have to go back and revisit some of the things that, it's been 3 years since I flew the real deal. And then I got quickly involved with the Zibo stuff, and I lost, not being in the real deck, I lost track of a lot of stuff. And now going back to the PMDG, I'm remembering, oh yeah, this stuff does work like this. For example, when you turn on your pitot heat, you're going to have amperage variation. As soon as you turn on the heat, your amperage and your volts are going to start varying, but just for a quick second. Little details like that. That we have to go back and implement. And Zibo does not have apprehension to any of these suggestions. So so even though I'm on the P3D side now, I want to let you guys know that I'm still in close contact with Zibo, and I'm going to be sharing these things with them.
Good.
And regarding, John, your comment about the cockpit, just because I'm on the P3D side now doesn't mean that I want to toy around. I don't want to toy around with X-Plane. As I've said before, I really do believe that Microsoft 2020 is going to bring us a whole nother level of experience, and I think a lot of things are going to change. You know, we're looking at Azure and the streaming ability of streaming data as opposed to downloading data. You know, we're going into different times. So I think all of us ought to prepare for that, you know, wisely, and, um, and take it with a little bit of with excitement. So I'm not. I don't want to throw X-Plane down the toilet,
No.
but Uncle John, if I can say, I would love to resume my project on that on the cockpit for the Zibo. It's already done. I mean, you guys have seen. I mean, John, you saw me working on that on stream, and what I want to do is take the Max cockpit. Remember the Max cockpit? I think that was one of my best jobs. I want to implement that, but Daniel is so busy making scenery. Daniel's the guy, the ultimate guy, who does the ultimate series. He's the main guy behind that. He's the Zibo of that project, so to speak. He's so busy making scenery that you know, we don't know what's going to happen with the Max, and I'm not about to comment on that on stream right now. I actually do know, pretty sure what's going to happen with the Max. But look, the reality is, we're in for very interesting times, and no, I'm not shut down to the idea of doing more work for X-Plane. So I think each simulator brings something to the table. And it really does boil down to what our needs are as individuals. But every sim has something to bring to the table, so I don't close the option up.
100%. Makes sense. Okay, I'm starting my APU, so we're almost there. We can almost go.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. On behalf of all the crew, welcome on board this flight.
And again, I apologize, Nico. Sorry for. I know this is your stream.
That's okay. It's perfect.
Route to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Don't want to step on any toes.
No, it's information, okay? We need info because we're on the receiving end, and if the guys at the top, like you, don't share information down, you know, we get surprised months later, whereas we could have known before.
Ladies and gentlemen, mobile phone and tablets are permitted to use for the whole duration of the flight in airplane or flight mode. If your device does not have airplane or flight mode, it needs to be switched off now and remain switched off for the whole duration of the flight. Thank you.
Come on.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Okay, so we're not going to fiddle with that little tablet now. Seems it's a beta, so it's a bit unstable.
Still connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback. You may start the engine.
Aviation, Ryan, you can ask on the Explain Facebook group, for instance. Okay.
Yes, sir.
While we're waiting for this engine to start, the Dash 8 from Majestic, have you actually flown it?
Yeah, I did. I don't know how to fly the thing, but so I just put the power up, and had some fun with it, took off and
Okay.
stuff. But I got to tell you, I was mesmerized by the my best friend who's now at Alaska Airlines flying there. He used to fly for Horizon on the Q400, and we sat with it, and he
Uh,
loved it.
yeah.
Uh, he said, "This is so cool." The modeling, he said, was done so well. The sounds, the systems. Um, and I personally, again, I don't know how to fly the thing properly, uh, but I had fun with it, and I think it's a really well put together aircraft overall. Sounds,
Yes.
modeling, texturing,
Yes.
systems I can't really comment on, but it seems like a very intact plane.
Yeah, yeah. That is like
Operation complete.
real
Stand by
proper
for
modeling that's gone into that in systems and everything. So apart from the Zibo that I dearly love that we are looking at here, that's like my second best aircraft, honestly. I tell you what, I just love that thing. It's awesome.
Hmm. I'll agree with you. It's a good plane, very good.
Yeah. If everything goes well, I'm definitely going to try and fly it again this weekend. I need to practice a little bit. It's been at least 2 years since I've flown it. So I flew it 2, 3 times in the week. But I'm rusty, man. Wow. Tell you, I've got 70
Dude,
hours on it. But
Dude, you have to take your guy. Look, I want to, since you have a connection to all the clean-blooded folks, eh, let's try to get a little VFR group together where we
mhm,
can fly some P3D VFR action, do some island hopping and little props, stuff like
mhm.
that. Little 15-minute hops.
Yeah,
I think would be really cool. It would be a really good time. Like a
absolutely.
Saturday or Sunday,
Mm.
weekly kind of group flying, VFR group flying kind of thing.
Well, we've got the Zibo group flying going, and believe it or not, our first leg will be Zibo this evening at 17:30 Zulu. The second leg is going to be a prop job in Switzerland, in between the Alps. Okay, so we've got that covered. I think we just need a more dedicated VFR group now. So the IFR slash VFR on our side in the Zibo pilots group is all covered. But I hear what you say. I think that's absolutely something we need to look and make an allowance for the VFR guys. Eh?
Yeah, we got Ashman, we got Daniel, and Seth too. Also wanted to join that. We've already
Mm,
talked. All three of us want to do. All four of us want to do like a
yeah, yeah.
little club kind of thing.
Well, if you are available, come join us this
Connecting
evening.
flow.
Anyway,
Stand by.
it's going to be your morning. Sorry, but you know what I mean.
Well, I don't know if I'll actually fly, but I'll try to tune in if you're
Cool.
gonna stream.
I think I will.
Um, yeah, that'd be good.
All right. Okay. We all set. I just wait for the pin and then we get going.
Flow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Paul, I just read your private message. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We don't talk about that yet.
Oh, Nico, we want to know about it though.
No.
Now you've opened the can of worms.
That's
I
the
can't.
problem with carrots.
Yeah, I can't type and drive the stiller at the same time, so I had to say it.
No, we're all wondering now what the question was.
The way
Is it just me?
No, I'm pretty sure everybody's wondering. It will teach me to open my big mouth.
then explain.
They've been teasing people all morning.
Yeah.
Who's the worst?
You're always the worst, John.
You know that, I know that, and I'm not going to change either.
You guys.
Approaching 3-5. On runway 3-5.
Jorge, at what speed does the tiller not count anymore? And does the actual rudder take over?
About 60 knots.
Okay.
I mean, once you're lined up with the runway, you're not going to use the tiller.
Yeah, I just find that I don't align it perfectly, and then I get that little skew turn when I actually tow guy, you know. So that's why I'm asking.
Beautiful takeoff.
Yeah, I love it. Love it.
Nico, why don't we start up with the 172 anymore?
No, we do. That is not changed until Jorge or Zibo tells me it doesn't work that way. We do it.
But you didn't start up with the 172.
I can't help it if you see things.
I'm cracking up here.
You're a very, very naughty man, senior captain.
I think I'm going to ban you off my channel now.
Again.
Yeah. Uncle John, remember my X-plane crashed and I was in a hurry. Remember that? So I took a chance. How's that for a proper answer?
I'm going to say no more then.
Yeah, no tea and cookies for you for the rest of the day, alright?
Slapped legs, slapped hands.
Daddy, you've got an open mic.
I'm always on the naughty step.
Yeah, with friends like you don't need enemies, I can tell you that.
No, you love me.
Yeah, I do, but I'm seriously considering. Yeah, let me tell you a story. Let me put you into perspective. I was about 10 years old, probably, or maybe 11. My mother did something, and I can't remember what she did, but she really, really made me angry. And she came and sat with me, and she said to me, "You know I love you, and I know you love me. So it will pass. Just whatever you did or I did, it will pass. Don't worry about it." And in my small mind, I looked at her and I said to her, "Yeah, I love you, but I just don't like you right now." And I'm not going to say that to you. I'm not at that point with you now this morning. But that's a strange thing that happened in my life. And you know what? I actually taught my kids that as well, as they grew up. I said, it's okay to love somebody, but you don't always have to like somebody. There's a difference. And you've got to know when to employ it and, use it and not use it, kind of a thing.
Agreed. I've said that a few times, or
Yeah.
needed to say that a few times.
Yeah. Fossil was 10 years old too, a long time ago.
61 years ago.
Well, guys, so, oops, wrong button. There we go. We have departed and we are on our merry way down to Seville now. I love this livery. This is so cool.
I'm gonna give her a buzz later. Good question. Is it, Nico?
What?
That livery, is it accepted by Ryanair? Virtual?
Yeah, the trick comes in this. Let me show you. It's not about the livery. You can actually use any livery you want. Okay? The way X-Plane works and the way Smart Cars reads the livery, it's all about this. I'm going to put it on screen. I'll show you now. It's about the naming convention of the actual folder. Right, so in 10 seconds you'll see I've got my Zibo folder open with the Ryanair livery. As long as it's called Ryanair, that is what they're going to detect. Let me show you. There's the smart cars. And there you can see. It says 737-800X, which is the base folder. And the actual livery is called Ryanair. So you can put any livery you want in there. I can even put my schematics in there. It's irrelevant because the smart cars only reads the aircraft folder and the livery folder name, and that's how it identifies it.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you needed the word "not" somewhere in there.
Yeah, must not. He's fixed it. Fossil. I had a Ryanair, I still do, a livery that actually was called the Ryanair Max. The guy that made the livery had the word Max in his folder, and he obviously had it painted on the outside. Now we all know the Max isn't available, and to this very day, whoever did the PIREP verification at Ryanair, he's never allowed me that flight. He just said, sorry, it's not acceptable. So I gave him the full explanation, and then his argument with me is, I fly P3D, I don't know how X-plane works. So I said to him, well, wouldn't it be nice if you got some education? And I think I pissed him off. So he's never allowed that flight. And that's when I started investigating and finding out how to get back at this asshole. Because I don't know who he is. I can't remember his name. It's irrelevant. But I mean, you can't go and screw people because you don't know any better. Get some education, man. Anyway, and that's from there on that I discovered how it works.
Nico, by what you've just said, in effect, you could change the schematics to read Ryanair.
Yeah, exactly what I said. Yeah, exactly what I said. You can, as long as the folder is called Ryanair, you can put any livery in there. It can be dark, black, white, pink. It doesn't matter. Phil, it doesn't work that way. It's irrelevant what happens in VATSIM in relation to what I've just said. In VATSIM, what happens when you connect with your client, you actually tell it what livery to use, okay? And it depends on what you tell the connection screen of the client. That's what the other guys will see. Fossil, I have a very good friend. He's a salesman. And he often says to me, I'm just too honest and too straight. I should learn how to blow smoke up people's asses. I've never had that given to me. I don't have that gift. I can't do it. I'm just too honest, straightforward.
There have been times I wish he would.
I know, but you know, yeah, I don't smoke either. This morning I actually walked away. Uncle John, you would be proud of me. I'm not going to discuss the topic of the conversation, but I walked away from a conversation this morning. That is something I've learned while dealing with all the Zibo people, the users, the Zibo users. Is sometimes a fight's just not worth it. Just shut up and walk away. It's easier for me to shut up and walk away than to blow smoke up people's asses.
Sometimes that's the best way to get the effect anyway.
Yeah. So this morning I walked away. I can't deal with it. Bye-bye. Believe your nonsense and your lies. I'm not interested. Well, Fossil, if the shoe fits, you know the old story. Some users are better than others and some really don't give me hassle. I haven't had hassle from you. I'm just saying, we're talking in general.
Don't tempt him.
Yeah, he's just going to rip it apart now. This is also one of those places, Uncle John, where I need to just shut up now. Yeah.
Young and old alike.
Absolutely. Muppet is a nice word for some people. Paul, where did Paul go to? I see he's dropped out of the... his mic's obviously not on, so he dropped out of the room here.
He doesn't want to tempt Providence, I think.
Yeah. Okay, well, I suppose this is the point in time where we start telling jokes and just having a ordinary conversation. Oh, there's Paul, he's back. Let me drag him in. Oh, one more thing. Let's let the poor guys go to the loo at least. Okay, I'm in your hands, guys. Now you got to talk to me. Ask me questions, tell me stories. I don't know. Let's get going.
Well, I'm having a snickerdoodle cookie. I don't know if that will strike a conversation up or not.
Well, I've got Smarties. I don't know what's the American equivalent of Smarties. I see them in front of me. What did I call them? M&Ms. But this is the South African version. Yeah, I've got 2 little packets of those that I grabbed from the cupboard, and then I've got 2 little bite-sized chocolate ball ones. I have no idea what you guys would call a ball one in America, but it's like 2 little bite-sized little peanut-filled chocolates. I don't have a peanut allergy, so yeah. The medication that I'm on, Jorge, right now, it's 2,000 milligrams of penicillin in the morning and then 2,000 at night. After 3 weeks, I had more than enough of this nonsense. Feeling bad and not good. So I'm hoping it's gonna help me now. So I'm going to mute my mic for a second. I want to get some of the Smarties inside of me as well.
Mic off.
I'm more interested in what kind of penalty we can impose on Senior Captain John for his earlier indiscretion. Actually seeing him in person on the 10th of next month so I can deliver whatever judgment you see fit.
Oh God, I'm not sure. I'm looking forward to that.
I'll probably end up delivering you some ice cream, John. It'll be all right.
I think that's the day I need to probably wear my hoodie.
Yes, the oldest hoodie in town. Fabulous.
And bring my mug with me as well for my coffee.
Now you're just rubbing it in.
One tries. If it's too warm, I shall have to wear my t-shirt instead.
As long as you don't get the underwear and display those, I'm happy.
Nico's filling his face.
Mic on.
Yeah, I
Can't
was.
believe nobody's got any questions.
Doesn't matter. We're all just enjoying the flight, I suppose.
Only asking.
Yeah. If somebody comes up with a question, I'm sure they'll ask, or if they want to make a suggestion or something. Anyway, those two boxes of Smarties. I mean, they're bite-sized. It's negligible small, but that was actually very nice. Now.
So my friend Nico in South Africa would say, fantastic.
Fantastic. Yes, fantastic. Absolute fantastic. Yeah, let's see. How far are we? Top of descent, 82 nautical miles. Okay. Very nice, very nice. Let's have a look, see what can we set up.
I was just going to ask whether real-world pilots do the mental arithmetic tricks for predicting top of descent in case the hardware has a glitch or something like that.
Jorge? You'll have
Yeah,
to
what?
ask. Yeah, you'll have to
Sorry,
ask
I was
Jorge.
listening to music.
That's okay.
No, I was just wondering whether real-world pilots do the mental arithmetic to predict top of descent to kind of have a backup check on the management computer. You know, divide by 3 and all that business.
Yeah, the rule of 3, yeah. So that's a very good question. Some guys do. Mostly the old school guys who actually had to do it before VNAV came around. It's just like an old habit, dies young kind of thing. But the newer guys, including myself, we had gates, what we call gates. So we knew that, at whatever, 20,000, we were looking at XY, altitude. Or X altitude, not Y. Leave Y out of it. Sometimes Y is not very good. But yeah, rule of 3. That's actually a good topic. It's a lot of people don't know the rule of 3. And so yeah, if Nico gives me the floor, I'll be glad to share it with you guys and how to actually calculate your descents. But give me a second because I was in the middle of finishing my snickerdoodle cookie. Hold up.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry. It was really good. I could not stop eating that thing. I got 2 from 7-Eleven tonight. I didn't normally have snickerdoodles, but they had them. I had to pick me up not 1 but 2.
Cool.
So the rule of 3. The rule of 3 is how you descend, and the rule of 3 is called rule of 3 based on a 3-degree glide slope. Just like you would see on an ILS, right? The rule of 3 tells you have to. So I'm going to make the math kind of easy right here. Let's say we're cruising at 30,000 feet. We're going to multiply 30 because we're going to forget about the zeros. We're just going to take 30. So if we're flying a flight level 370, you're going to take 37. So for our case, we're going to use 30,000 for the sake of easy math. So 30,000, we're going to take 30 and multiply it by 3 will give us 90, right? So 90 miles is when we should begin our descent away from the airport. Okay, so 90 miles away from the airport, we're going to begin our descent. And that's going to give us a 3-degree glide path all the way down. Now, people might ask, well, what airspeed, or sorry, well, that's a good question too. So if you're flying at rule 3, you're going to be flying in a 737 at least, you're looking at 280 on the knot side, or 0.78 if you're above the changeover point, right? Just about 25,000 feet where you switch over from from knot to indicated airspeed. Sorry, when you change from Mach to indicate or knots. I mean, so to calculate how many feet per minute you're going to descend, you're going to multiply your ground speed by 6. But here's the thing: a lot of people might be like, okay, I'm doing 400 over the ground. You multiply it by 6. That's 2,400 feet per minute. Is what's going to give you 3 degrees down from, right? Is that making sense so far?
Yep,
Am I making
yeah.
any sense here? Okay,
Yep,
cool.
yep.
All right. So now you got to keep in mind that as you descend, your ground speed will also decrease. So going back to the whole gate argument, every 5 to 10,000 feet, you're going to want to recalculate your vertical speed, your rate of descent, right? Because as you descend, your ground speed will decrease, so therefore it's going to give you a different rate of descent, right? So it's not important to maintain an if you're doing 417 over the ground, you don't have to sit there with a calculator and multiply. That's close to 400. That's close enough. Multiply 400 by 6, you'll be fine. Don't get ridiculous with 0.3 or something. Forget about that. 400 is close enough to 417. You'll be just fine. It'll be close enough for you to, once you get closer, you'll be able to clear out those. If you're a little high or a little low, you're going to be able to do that with speed brakes or lack thereof, right? So that's how you descend this aircraft, or any aircraft in general. This rule really applies to anything from a 172. Obviously, it's used a lot more with jets because of the higher speed and the higher ground speed. But yeah, that's how you descend a plane without VNAV, the rule of 3. Again, to recap, take the altitude you're flying at, multiply it by 3. So if you're flying at 30,000 feet, multiply 30 times 3 gives you 90. 90 miles from the airport, start your descent. A lot of guys like, one thing I forgot to mention, a lot of guys like to add about 10 miles to that. Why? For decreasing bleeding off speed at 10,000 to get down to 250, right? 250 below 10. So a lot of guys add 10 miles to that. So if you're at 30,000 feet, multiply 30 times 10, 90 plus 10, 100 miles. So 100 miles out from the airport, you're going to start your descent, right? And then the rate of descent is going to be your ground speed, which is on your top left of your navigation display, where it says GS, ground speed. And take that number, round it out. Don't kill yourself. Round it out so you can do easy math in your head. Multiply that by 6. So if you're at 400 knots over the ground, you're going to take 400 times 6, that's going to be 2,400 feet per minute in thereabouts, and voila, and you go. That's all I got.
Okay, can I show this to the guys practically quickly, and then you help me if I misunderstood it? Okay, so if you look at my screen now, you can actually see, let's actually go to the FMC. You can see there, top of descent is in 25 miles. Now we're flying at 33,000 feet. So 33 times 3 is 99 nautical miles. Now the difference between the actual distance to the airport is 127 and top of descent. That gives us an almost 100 nautical mile. And the calculation that we just did in our mind said 33 times 3 is 99. So look how close it is. And that's what you mean by it's negligible, because it's not spot on, but it's so close. That gives you the top of descent.
Yeah, it's going to be close enough. So remember, you're going to have ATC in the real world too. They're going to vector you out 9 out of 10 times. And so this will give you something. I'm going to put it to you this way. It will bring you down to a point where either if you're low, fast, slow, or high, it doesn't matter. The aircraft, you're going to be in a state where you're going to be able to throw speed brakes out or level off, whatever you need to do in a comfortable manner to fine tune it once you get down. That's what's important, is to get a general ballpark to get down there. And then as you get lower and closer as you descend, then you start tweaking it a little bit more. So, as you go down. Because weather's going to play a factor as well. Again, it's all about the ground speed too.
Yeah, got it. But I mean, this was a practical way of showing the guys how close it is, exactly what you're saying, so I just thought I'd throw it in there.
Yeah, it's a good rule, and it's a good habit to get into. I used to do it that way in practice. I put it into practice. You know, switch off the navigation display, put that thing in vRyR mode, and get down. I mean, you'll find yourself really enjoying it, and incredibly rewarding.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it you would have to take into account the altitude of the landing strip, though. Yeah, if it's anything significant. Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah. You know, if you're landing at a 5,000 foot, you know, an airport that's 5,000 feet above the ground, yeah, you want to take that into consideration, obviously.
Yep.
But you know, 1,000 or 2,000 feet, no big.
The same would go for any headwind component, would it? Or you just read the ground speed and that's fine?
Well, ground speed is
Mic off.
based off of the difference between ground speed and indicated airspeed is that it's corrected for winds, right? So we've got 270 on there on indicated. That's our speed as we're flying through the air. Ground speed is just that. Ground speed is our speed over the ground. Okay, that's kind of a difficult concept to grasp your head around. But as we can see here, he's doing 454 over the ground right now. So you take 6 to that at 450. So you're looking at about 2,700 feet per minute. Another big weapon as you're descending on the 730, especially if you're landing at an airport with stars and SID, is as opposed to using the row of 3, what you're going to do is, for example, if you have a restriction, let's say at one of your waypoints at 12,000 feet, let's say, you're going to dial in 12,000 feet on the MCP, and then you're going to use the vertical speed knob, and you're going to look at for your banana bar, and you're going to adjust that vertical speed so that it's at 12,000 feet, a few miles before that crossing restriction, just to give yourself a little buffer margin right there. And again, that vertical speed is going to be adjusted as you descend because your ground speed will decrease as you descend. So that's another way to get down as well.
Excellent, yeah. So if you're in a plane that doesn't display ground speed, you're going to have to calculate that yourself, or is it not of any huge significance?
Well, that's a good question too. If you're flying an airplane, it's not equipped with the ground speed indicator. Chances are you're in a little prop. Most planes nowadays do have a ground speed indicator, but if you're doing a kind of a cheap trick that I remember my buddy, for example, and he flew for Colgan in the Saab. He flew the Saab 340, and that airline that he worked for didn't have ground speed on the navigation display, or the HSI, I should say. And he used to tell me, or it was just 2,000 feet per minute. We were going down because a prop has the capabilities of just slowing down like nobody's business. You can put those, you can feather the props and slow that thing down in a heartbeat. Most any turboprop. And yeah, 2,000 feet a minute does it. Just like 140 on landing, some people get so caught up in, well, you were 3 knots below your VREF or 5 knots above your VREF. Who cares? 140 average weight in any airliner, you're going to get down, whether it's whether it's a 737 or a 757. 140, unless you're coming in after taking off with a fuel load you're super heavy. I mean, 140 does it. I'll be the first to tell you that precise numbers is not going to make a difference. Just get in the neighborhood and you'll be fine.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, Jorge.
I'm looking forward to my time here in Spain.
Nice place this, eh? Beautiful women, nice beaches. Ask Uncle John, he can tell you all about that.
Yeah, I miss it. I have to admit,
I get a feeling this is where we find some of those beautiful brunette women with the, the dark, really
Yes.
dark jet black hair, and then those nice, beautiful kind of greenish eyes. That's good stuff.
Some really beautiful women.
Yeah, yeah. Fossil, who knows? She might. Jorge, Vertical was on stream with me last night, and he actually showed me his ortho stuff that he's been doing. That's really cool that he's color corrected the orthos and stuff, eh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I'm a friend of Andrew, and I've collaborated with him on Tampa, and uh, as much as I love the guy, I I can't agree 100% with his business model, and I've told him that many times. Um, I love the guy though. He's a great guy. He really is. But I just don't agree with his business practices. I think he's got a lot more to give, but he's trying to do too much by himself, and that's going to lead to burnout, as I've already witnessed. So I think I've tried to invite him over to the other side, to P3D. I tell him, dude, if you're in this for a business, you gotta split hairs here, and get as much as you can from each split, each side of the thing, and you know he doesn't want to, but developing for P3D is a whole lot easier. Um, I think a lot of developers these days are just out for the quick buck without passion for what they do, and that's a lot of brings me a lot of sadness, because I believe that when as a developer, I'll say that your pay is other satisfaction when you see what you poured your heart into being enjoyed by others. I mean, there's no money that can compare to that. It's like, well, right on. You did something that people are enjoying and are getting. It's making their lives a little bit richer, man. There's no better feeling than that. But it seems like a lot of developers want to focus on just the money side of it, and it shows, But that's a whole another topic.
Fossil Vertical, just to answer your last question there, Vertical has got a lot of free stuff. So he's got a balance between free stuff and payware stuff. Just go have a look at his site. You'll see there's a whole bunch of stuff there. Right, we're almost at the airport, and I'm getting worried about the distance to go, but it seems we've got it under control. So 93 miles to land should do it.
Ortho's looking good out here, Nico.
Yeah. This is all Zoom level 17. Because I fly so much in the Spain area, I thought I'd do it 17.
Do you zoom in further at the airport?
No. Just keep 17.
Nico, what are your plans after you land?
Jorge, I don't have concrete plans, but I actually wanted to get something to eat. Why? Can I help you with something?
Well, I wanted us to have one of our good chats,
Okay,
but
yeah, we can do that.
you're, I'd like to, I'd like for you to be fed and happy before we do. Of course.
Well, the least I need is coffee. Then we can do it.
Fantastic. As my friend in South Africa would say.
You need to
talking about South Africa.
Yeah.
I was just watching one of the Shark Week episode things on. I had like a whole Shark Week thing on demand on the cable box thing, and I started watching some episodes. And there was this episode in South Africa, and the whole time I'm thinking about you. It's like, man, I got to ask Nico about this place. An island called Seal Island.
Yeah, that's in Cape Town.
Yeah. Oh man, dude. Looking at this thing and the amount of seals there, but the amount of great white shark and how vicious it is out there, man.
Yeah. I've always told you.
Creatures.
Yeah, I've always told you, if you ever come here, you need to go shark diving in False Bay. You need to go shark cage diving. You need to experience that.
I didn't even know they did that thing. You can actually go down and cage and...
Yeah. They're in False Bay.
Have you done it?
No. I've always wanted to do it, but as I'm projecting my dream onto you, it's still a dream for me too.
How much is one of those dives? What do you say?
I have no clue. We can Google it. No, we'll have to Google that. It can't be that expensive. You might talk $50, probably, if even,
Yeah.
But also, you don't.
You
don't have to do it in the actual ocean. I think it's just the thrill of doing it in the actual ocean that really tickles me. The guys actually do it at the aquarium as well. At the V&A waterfront there. There are a couple of places where you can actually do it. Even in Durban, they've got the shark cage stuff at the aquariums that you can do.
No way. So whenever I go visit you in South Africa, I'm going to be able to... Am I going to pull you? Can I pull you?
Yeah.
I'll pay, but you just come with me as support.
Of course. And then I'll take you to the lion park, and then we go play with the little cubs,
yes.
As well. Yeah, that's an experience everybody should have, to play with a little lion cub.
As petrified as I am of sharks, I think I would definitely do it in a cage, though. That's got to be a rush, man.
Oh yeah. For sure. Paul, good one. He says he'll stick to the pet shop. That's cool. That's so nice. Now, the guppies don't bite like the sharks, eh?
Hey, but we had a guy, that episode I was telling you about here. One of the guys went down at night, bro. No cage. This guy was in the dark, diving by himself and the camera guy. I'm thinking, and he was talking. He had one of those like not just a regular regulator in the mouth. He had like a full head
mask,
suit, where he had a microphone in there. He could talk. It was saying like, I don't know. I feel like any second now I'm going to turn. I'm going to see an animal here, and dude, I'm like, you gotta be. That's insane, right there. That's insane. That's balls.
No, I don't think it's balls. It's just insanity. No, man.
Well, I think actually, no, yeah, it's probably more like insanity.
Yeah, nutcase like Uncle John says. Yeah, I know.
I mean, I could be in you could tell me there are no sharks in this water. There are no creatures that are going to affect you. I'm still going to be hesitant to jump in that pitch dark water,
Of course. When we were kids, we used to live quite close to a river. And I tell you what, even there, just walking in the water or swimming through the river, you always wondered what's touching your feet, and if you...
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you go ice cold when something touches you because you just don't know what the hell it is.
Exactly. And there are all kinds of weird creatures down there,
Yeah, of course.
barracudas, jellyfish, stingrays. I mean, you never know what you're going to come across.
For sure. Well, yeah, I'm not sure if you actually get it in Cape Town. The water might be too cold, but here in the tropical side at Durban, you get what we call the Portuguese man of war. I mean, if those bloody jellyfish sting you, boy, wow, that hurts. Oh, those things hurt.
I
So
forget when we were in Panama at a young age on the Atlantic side, and aunt got stung. We were on a family little trip, and my aunt got stung by a jellyfish. The urine works. And my sister's almost 10 years younger than I am, and I was about 10. She was still a baby, an infant. She was still in diapers. And I remember her taking the pee diapers and putting them on her wounds on where the thing had stung, and it relieved the pain. Urine, human urine, out of all things, is what kind of neutralized the.
Yeah, we're careful when we go to the seas. You just don't know enough really which creatures can kill you and which not. Somebody wanted to say something there, Paul. Was it you?
I was going to say those Portuguese man of war, they can kill, can't they?
Yeah, if you're allergic to this thing, yeah, you can die. Definitely.
I was also wondering how your rule of 3 was going on here.
Oh, no, I don't care. The FMC is doing VNAV perfectly. That's one thing that I can testify Zibo really does very, very well. VNAV's not a problem. Anybody who complains about VNAV didn't do something right.
So guys, we can see here is about 10,000 feet. Multiply that by 3. We're at 30. Well, we should be about 30 miles from the airport. And if you apply that 10 extra miles, you'd be about 40. What is the FMC distance from airport?
39.
Yeah, there we go. Almost right on the money.
You see. Phil, I think the weather in front is just basically the optical illusion of how Explain just displays it. That's just the distance, It's not real weather. Let me have a look in Active Sky quick what it shows us. Yeah, there's nothing. Oh, you're talking on the ND. Ah, sorry. Yeah. That's all. Let me zoom out a little bit. Awesome, Phil. Yeah, enjoy. That Tonkinton that was released in January is a very nice rendition. Jorge, I don't know if you actually saw that on the org. There's a new Tonkinton that's newer than the one I had. I think it was released
Yeah, I
January.
did see that. It's very well made, I think, for a
Mm.
freeway airport.
Oh, yeah.
Tonkinton was one of the airports that Vertical and I were actually thinking about doing.
Mm.
But then other things happened and we didn't do it. But that's still on my kind of bucket list
Yeah,
far
sure.
out there. But it needs to get done. It's one hell of an airport.
Very nice, yeah. But I'll stream the Havana to Tonkinton one day. That's on my bucket list, that stream.
Fantastic.
What?
What are the announcements?
You made them, eh?
Some of them.
Very cool.
I love you. Like, oh, I love your sound set. I always keep it on that one.
I know.
I love your support, man.
Yeah. It's only with Ryanair that I've, left it to do its own thing. But when I fly Skymatics, it's always on your one because I always have Jorge with me when I fly. That's just how it is.
Right on, brother. Nico, this is a really good example for one more quick lesson for people regarding flap extension. If you allow me,
Yes.
a minute. Well, people always ask, when should I extend my flaps and stuff? Here's a little rule of thumb. If you have a piece of paper, whoever wants to learn, write this down. So the final approach fix is the last fix before your runway, right? So in this case, I can't read in the navigation display, but it's like, what is it? I don't know. Can't read it. But 7 miles from the final approach fix, flaps 1.
Which is about,
5 miles from, Yep. 5 miles from the final approach fix, flaps 5, speed. And by the way, when I say speed, it's flaps 1, speed, you're going to reduce the speed. If you're in VNAV is automatically going to move the speed bug to the flaps 1 position, flaps 1 maneuver and airspeed, and that's dictated by the 1 on the airspeed indicator tape. So 7 miles out, flaps 1, 5 miles from the final approach fix, flaps 5, speed. 3 miles from the final approach fix, gear down, flaps 16, speed, and then about 1 mile from the final approach fix, flaps 30 or 40, target, meaning vRyR plus 5 or whatever wind additive you have, and voila, there you go. That's just a solid rule of thumb. Whether you're doing an RNAV, it's designed for an RNAV, but it will work for most ILSs as well.
Excellent. I think I've gone past the limits there a little bit because the final approach fix is right in front of me. So I'm just going to go gear down and flaps 15 and then just take it from there. Because
and then the goal is to be established by 1,000 feet. Be stabilized. By stabilize, we talked about this before, Nico, but for the viewers that have not heard of this before, you want to have fully configured by 1,000 feet. That's why they call it as your 1,000 feet stabilized Mr. Approach altitude set. What that means is, by 1,000 feet, you got to have your flaps down, complete your landing flaps set, your speed plus or minus 5 knots from VREF, your vertical speed no more than 1,000 feet per minute, and then your power at least 40% in one, no less than 40% in one, because if you, in case you have to go around, the spool up time is not enough to guarantee you will, get
Make
up
it.
and go.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt your landing here, but
No
that's a
worries.
very good rule of thumb for people.
Yeah. I appreciate it. No, of course, you can do anytime. Uncle John just wants you to write it down for him.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Approach altitude set.
Approaching 09.
Approaching minimums. 200. Minimums. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Beautiful, Nico. Great job. Thank you for getting us here safe.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being the passengers.
5,000 feet remaining.
Also, John, that FAF is final approach fix, the last fix before the run. I thoroughly enjoyed that flight, Nico. Thank you very much for it.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure. I also did, I must be honest, and the company was actually very nice this morning. And thank you for your lessons and, being the real world guy here with us. I mean, it makes a huge difference, really.
Well, I just hope I didn't step on your toes.
No,
But,
no, you're good.
I feel that whenever we have an opportunity to share something, it's good for
of course.
Most guys.
And I can tell you one thing, even if they don't say it, the guys also all appreciate it. So you're all good, all good.
Just to be clear, the final approach fix is the sideways star that you would find on your approach charts, yeah?
If it's an ILS, yes. But just rule of thumb is it's just that, the final approach fix. It's the last fix on your approach plate before the...
Okay, Cloudy, you see, one of the things I've been doing is I've been using the runway as the point to measure that. So I'm glad you actually helped me out. I was using the runway as my reference point, not the final approach fix.
Yeah.
Small little faulty mistake. It's the final fix before the runway. The very last waypoint, so to speak, before the runway. That's what it is.
If you're doing an ILS, it'll be they call it the Maltese cross, which looks like an X kind of on the approach plate. If you're using Jeppesen charts, oh look, they call it the Maltese cross, which looks like a cross that's tilted over 45 degrees. It looks like an X kind of. That's your final approach fit.
This line has confused me. Let's fix it.
And that also 9 out of 10 times equates to glide slope intercept point.
Yeah.
Not necessarily fossil. Most glide slope interception point is typically from glide slope interception all the way down to the runway would be 3 degrees down the whole way down without, unless you're doing like a non-precision approach like a VOR DME approach where you're going to have a VDP, a visual descent point, and you're going to level off before you hit the runway. If you're doing a straight up ILS, it's just going to be straight from that cross Maltese, your final approach fix, all the way down 3 degrees down to the runway.
There we go. Welcome to Seville. Cloudy. The beach is that way, I think, yeah. So I'll catch you there later.
Is that where the femininas are?
Yes.
Those brunettes?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll be over there now. Yeah. Tell them to hook that way. I want to get.
No, this jetways doesn't work. It wasn't done by a good designer. This is just static, unfortunately. We need a good designer for this airport.
They didn't pay the power bill.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much. It was fun. I'll probably stream a little later again. Not this show, but then definitely tonight, 17:30 Zulu, the group flight. Because we're going to do that on VATSIM and we're going to be a whole group again. So anybody, welcome to join us if you want to. And I'm going to end the stream and check you later. Bye-bye. Yeah.
Well, one last thing. Fossil has a question here. Very good question. It says, how far before the runway does one usually switch on the approach for the ILS? And I think he's asking about when do we go from, when do we engage lock mode, localizer mode versus approach mode? And that's actually a very good question because you want to get your localizer is reliable within 25 DME. So as soon as you start receiving DME of 25 miles out, you know that your localizer is reliable, but not yet your glide slope, not quite yet. Your glide slope, you're looking at about 17 to 18 miles, you're going to get a reliable signal. So if you arm approach mode at 25 miles, not necessarily the best of ideas, because if it does intercept, it doesn't guarantee a solid signal. So you want to be within 17 to 18 miles before you engage the actual full approach mode, right? So I hope that answers your question. And thank you guys for listening to me rant this evening. I know I kind of came in here and probably stepped on, and Hinkle says no, but I feel like I've come in here. But it's important information for y'all.
Cloudy. You and I have known each other long enough. You know I love you. There's no issue with you helping. I would rather you help than not help. Hope that makes sense.
Roger that.
Okay.
Second that.
Yeah, and the guys on here, look, this channel, I'm not a showman. Okay, I can't sit here and play music and talk crap the whole day to entertain people. I'm here to educate people, and I'm here for my own benefit. And if somebody then finds they enjoy what I do, you know, that's the way I look at it. And if we can get education in there, I think that's my biggest wish, is to educate people. Then we've done what we wanted to do today.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad. As long as you guys learn something, that's cool with me.
None of the game.
We want some doof doof music.
My
Let's.
question is, what is next for Uncle John? He's now a senior captain. I mean, I'm afraid of his next.
He's going to become a training captain, Cloudy. He's going to now train the guys.
Negative.
He's gonna be the director of the flight department pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good assumption.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's going to set up a virtual RAF and he'll end up as Air Commodore or something.
Oh, that sounds good.
No way. Desk job, no way.
Well, the only desk job I can see for Uncle John is like that CEO at Ryanair. Pretty soon.
Yeah.
He just climbs up at everybody. It's like, you know what? I'm calling the shots now.
There we are. There we are.
Yeah. Move up. Left seat's mine. Okay, guys. The closest I have to doof doof music is this. I hope you enjoy it on the way out, and we'll check you guys later. Bye bye.
Thanks, Nico.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Nico.
Cloudy.
Bye, guys.